Shalom, Kol Haloyim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachak Wadash, and Shan Yukabad, Agadwala Rekwab, Zequanium Nawa, Wa Shalayakim Nawa, that's the belongers to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, Shalawam, Wa Barakim, Labakarim, Shaliyasharala, that's peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. I've been wanting to make this video for about a week or two now. I've had this topic for that long and just haven't really found the precepts. But through the Spirit, I did some research today, looked some things up online, and just read a little. And the Spirit fed me a few. So I wanted to bring those out in relation to this topic, which is simply put yourself on a schedule. A lot of brothers have problems with striving to get certain things done each day, or just a problem with trying to be more disciplined. But it's one thing to say you're going to be disciplined. It's another thing to actually do it. And if you're having problems with being disciplined or getting something done, getting a particular task accomplished, well, the solution to that is putting yourself on a schedule. You can't just say, I'm going to be more disciplined. How? How is the question. You have to ask yourself that. What are you changing in order to take those necessary steps to be disciplined? It starts with a schedule. Your finances, everything, every little small thing that you can possibly think of, it really comes down to your schedule. And that's why I wanted to open up with 1 Corinthians 14, verse 40, which simply states, let all things be done decently and in order. And yes, this even comes down to your schedule, your life. What are you doing day to day that's leading you on a proper path to, I'm going to say, salvation? Because listen, when it comes to us being called in this ministry, we're not just an average Joe Smo out here creating a schedule in order to accomplish some kind of worldly goal. Now, if you want to do something like start a business, or you have some kind of side project, things that you want to do, nothing is wrong with that. But all these things need to be centered around this gospel. If you've been called, if you're a male, I'm speaking to you specifically. If you've been called into this ministry, you're out there teaching, your number one priority, your profession is to be a prophet, which means what? We are to make videos. We are to offer our bodies as a living sacrifice. We are to show brotherly love. We are to link up with the brothers when necessary. You are to show up for Sabbath service when you have it, or just any other function, right, in general, that's necessary in this truth. And so everything that you do needs to be done decently and in order, so that you can prioritize this, or I'll say you can prioritize your daily activities around this gospel. So the next precept I want to grab is in Ephesians 5. And I'm really just grabbing some basics, some oldies but goodies, if you will, but they make the point clear. Ephesians 5, and I'll get right to the point at verse 15 through 17. It says, see then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Now, I want to read that in the ESV that I don't have up. All right, maybe the NLT says the same thing. Ephesians 5, verse 17, it says, don't act thoughtlessly. It's perfect. Don't act thoughtlessly, but understand what the Lord wants you to do. Now, obviously, our main job, our main duty is to spread this gospel. That's it. We teach this word. The Lord gives the increase. He wakes up the elect. All we have to do is push this out through YouTube and out there on the streets. But I want to harp on that first phrase right there. It says, don't act thoughtlessly. Something that I mentioned 2 weeks ago when I was speaking, and it's something that I wanted to say in this video as well. Listen, it's one thing to say, I'm going in the spirit, but don't use that as an excuse to not have a schedule and to be lazy. You wake up, you don't know what you're doing each day, you have no plan, nothing is laid out, you damn near forgot to pray, the whole day then went by, you're about to lay down and, oh, let me send up a prayer real quick. No, don't act thoughtlessly. Plan your day out. If you know you need to make videos and you work X, Y, and Z hours, okay, well, maybe it's not the best time for you to make a video when you get off work because you have to run ABC errands. So, hey, I have a 30-minute break. Maybe it's best for me to bust out a video on that break. Or maybe, look, maybe you have a short 15-minute break. Maybe it's not too long. And you say, I want to make a video when I get back home. So on that 15-minute break, let me just gather some notes. Let me do a little bit of research, jot some notes down. I have 3 or 4 precepts. That's cool. I kind of know what I want to say. I'm going to bust out this video when I get back home. It makes it more smooth, and it makes your videos that much more edifying. This as well, look, very simple. If you know you need to be at camp at a certain time, it's very easy. At this point, if you've been going out there each and every single week, you have a good idea of what the traffic looks like. It's no excuse, especially because now we have Waze, we have Google Maps, Apple Maps, or whatever. Plug it in. Leave out maybe 10, 15 minutes early just in case there's a little bit more traffic. Get your necessary sleep if you're able to. If you work a job Saturday morning, maybe it's a different story. But in general, you know what time you need to be on camp. Plan out your day. Maybe you need to plan out that night before, that Friday. All right, what time? I mean, shit, I know I do. I'm just being honest. No shame in my game. I go to bed at a certain time on Friday because I want to make sure that I'm able to sleep in. I'm working Monday through Friday, as I'm sure most brothers are. Maybe some work I'm sure a lot work 6 days. But look, Saturdays, I try to make sure that's my day to sleep in, get a little bit of rest, a little bit more rest so that I have that much more energy to get out there and to come prepared to camp. So don't act thoughtlessly talking about, I'm just going in the spirit. No, going in the spirit still represents you being organized and you having some kind of an idea of what you want to do. But obviously, the Lord will have his own plans for you. So things may change. Now, if they change, boom, then you go in the spirit. You just don't wake up in every day with nothing, no idea, no actions, and you don't know what's ahead of your day, what's ahead of you that day. That's not how it should be. Now, I talked about planning because that's the main thing we're talking about here. Getting yourself on a schedule and planning your day around this gospel. So Matthew 6, verse 33 is a precept that came to mind. I'm going to get out of the NLT. Matthew 6, sure, right to the point. Verse 33. I meant to get out of the NLT. It says, but seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Take therefore no thought for the morrow shall take thought for the thing of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. So is verse 34 telling us not to think about tomorrow at all? Is that what it's saying? Absolutely not. What it's saying is you don't worry. You don't panic. Oh, what am I going to eat tomorrow? What am I going to do tomorrow? How am I going to pay this? How am I going to pay that? No, you're not doing that. What verse 34 is saying is to trust in the Lord. That's it. You trust in the Lord, you figure out what you need to do, and He'll handle the rest. When it comes, if things changes, then it changes. Now, once again, you go in the Spirit. But of course, you plan your days out. Like later today, as an example. Later this evening. I'm going to be leaving out here, Lord's will, in about 30 minutes at 6 in order to go to camp today, right? I have camp around at 6:30. It'll take me maybe 25 minutes to get there. And that's even with traffic, right? So I'll get there a few minutes early. Parking's not that bad. It's pretty quick for me, right? But I knew I wanted to make a video. So I said, as soon as I get home, I'm going to get this topic, grab my precepts. I'm going to make this video. I also wanted to make sure, now this is me personally, I hit the gym, right? I like hitting the gym 2 to 3 days a week, but I'm not prioritizing that over making videos, over the gospel, over linking up with brothers, over hitting camp, right? Or any kind of service that we need to do. No, okay, so I try to make my videos at least 3 days a week or 3 times a week. I want to hit the gym these days as well. I got camp on this day. So what do I need to do? How can I get my videos in there, still hit the weights, figure out your schedule, write it down if you need to. This is the reason why people can't get nothing accomplished. They don't plan things out. And then they wonder why, there's never enough time in the day. That has some kind of truth to it. There's some kind of truth to that because we live in an Esau's goddamn world where you have to work 8 hours a day. It's really like 10 with traffic, waking up early. Then you got to sit in traffic before work, sit in traffic after work. Then you get home just to feel like you're packing your lunch and doing it all over again. But listen, that's hell that we're living in. You got to deal with it. Man up. Man up and don't make excuses. Let's say you want to learn a language. And that's something that I'm trying to get better at. I used to be decent at French. I can still read it to a certain extent. But when it comes to understanding the language when I hear it, I'm definitely slacking with that. But you just got to put yourself on a schedule with that. Just like 15 minutes a day. It's not hard. Same thing with reading. No one says you got to sit down every day and read 3-4 chapters a day and just try to soak in as much as you can. No, sometimes it's just a verse here and a verse there. It doesn't take too much out of your time. You sit down and you binge watch goddamn 10 episodes of Netflix. You can't read a few verses a day. Of course you can. You're just not making the time for it. You're being lazy. You're not prioritizing. The last precept I wanted to grab is if I can click, Ecclesiastes. There it is, Ecclesiastes 3, and just simply verse 1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. In this ministry, there's going to come sacrifices. You're not the same person that you were back in the world, that popular phrase that we like to say, which means you're not going to be doing the same things that you were back in the world. You have to change your schedule. You have to adapt to this gospel. You don't try to make the gospel adapt to your life and the way you want these things to go. No, you have to change your mindset. You have to change your schedule. Everything goes around the gospel. Just like it says, there's a time to every purpose under the heaven. Right now, our purpose is to teach this gospel. That's why the Lord called us into this ministry. Lord's will, we're chosen. So everything in your life, it needs to be well thought out and planned. Now, I personally just happen to be a very disciplined individual. I have a schedule. As a matter of fact, I've always put myself on the schedule. Even before I was in this ministry, this is just how I was. I was just this kind of guy where I like to be organized. I didn't like waking up not knowing what I was doing each day. I'm a businessman at heart, entrepreneur back in the world even now. And so I like to know, what am I doing? Where am I going? What time? How long is it going to take? Not everybody is like that. But it doesn't mean that you can't grab some of those characteristics and apply it to your life. This is also what it means to abound in this faith, right? Abounding in this ministry not only means that you're learning more and more every single, I was going to say day, but, daily, weekly, monthly, whatever. So you're understanding more about this knowledge and wisdom, right? And what the Lord requires, but also you personally, you're growing. New characteristics that you didn't have before back in the world. Now, all of a sudden, you're realizing these things, and that's true personal growth. And you will realize that you do have a little bit more time than what you thought when you put yourself on the schedule. Okay, there is time for this that I wanted to do. I do have time for that. Because you're planning things out. You're putting yourself on a schedule. So to everything, there's a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. You may have to make sacrifices, but listen, plan your schedule out. The Lord will look out for you. And of course, pray on everything. Pray without ceasing. All right, that even comes down to your schedule and you being that much more disciplined. So I pray that this video was edifying to the elect. I know I rambled a lot, but those were the 4 precepts that I had. I just wanted to speak on this. It was on my spirit heavy these past 2 weeks. Listen, drop any precepts that come to mind on the comment board so all the elect may be edified. And I pray that this was edifying to the elect. Call Haloyim Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rachakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the elect. Shalom.